Hi everybody, it's Carol again with Refunction Crafts, and we're just going to do a quick little ditty today, tutorial. And we're going to work with some resin, and this is going to be a fairly easy project. And this is sort of, if you're a beginner with resin, we're using UV resin today. And this is going to be a good tutorial for you to learn a couple of little tips and tricks on just making little things like this out of resin. I'm going to use my hard glue resin and this little mold. It's just a little round pendant mold, and you can see it's got this little nubby here that creates the hole that you can hang your pendants from. So what I'm going to do is, I've got a couple of things over here. Like I said, we're going to make this easy peasy for you guys to do like a first little resin project on. First things first, what we're going to do is we're going to put a little layer of clear resin on the bottom of this tray. Not a lot, just a thin layer of resin. So don't go too crazy on this one, because we need to save room in the middle to do what we want to do. So I've got just like an eighth, not even an eighth of an inch of resin going over the bottom of this mold. And I'm just spreading it around with one of my little Q-tips. And the thing is that these molds, especially when you first use them the first time or two, the resin sometimes will try to pull away from the sides. Don't get too hung up on that, but try to make sure that you are pressing the resin around to get it to all of the edges, you guys. I have a little tiny dot of resin in this one. We're going to use that for part of one of these, so I'm going to leave that there. Okay, so I have a very thin layer of resin at the bottom of this. I'm going to take my little torch here, and this one's just on light mode. You can see the flame. And I'm going to go over it that fast and get any bubbles that might be in that resin out of there. I don't see any bubbles, and there's no air to escape into this right now, so you're probably not going to get many bubbles at this point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to put this under my UV lamp for about 30 seconds. And you guys have seen my lamp before in my other videos. If not, I will show my lamp at some point during this video, probably at the end. But right now I've got all my resin stuff up here, and I don't want to put my lamp right there, because then it's going to cure all this resin that's out, and I don't want that to happen. So we're just taking this first layer of resin, and we just want it to cure and get hard so that we can add to it. And it really doesn't even need a full 30 seconds because there's so little resin in there. It's crazy. And so on this first one, this is probably going to be the harder of the two. And saying that, it's not going to be that hard, you guys. What I want to show you in this one in particular is how to do this and not get too much dye in your resin. Especially when you're using the opaque dyes. You guys, this stuff goes a long way, and if you use too much of it, your resin's not going to cure. Your UV resin is not going to cure under the lamp. So you need to make sure that you only use, like, I mean, not even a drop. You just want to take it and go like this, and you're going to grab a toothpick or something. When we're using as little resin as we're going to use in this, you're going to use a toothpick, and you're going to dot that toothpick with that white, and you're going to mix it in. So that's how little of the white we're going to use in this piece here. So what we're going to do first is, okay, so we have our first layer of resin down. I'm going to use this little bluebird, which I showed you. I got these little these little birds from a little local store that I shop at, and they had these little birds, and I thought, oh, those are so cute, and they're tiny enough that I could use them in some resin stuff. So I bought a couple of packages of them, and look at how cute that little bird is. It's very, very pretty. It's got some little flecks of gold in it and everything. And what I'm going to do with this bird is the bottom of this is going to be the front of my pendant, just so you guys know. So I'm going to flip this bird over and put it where I want it to be. In fact, I'm going to put a little bit of resin down underneath this little bird, and I'm going to set it on top of that resin, but not enough resin so that it's going to float anywhere. I want it to touch the resin that's underneath this little layer of resin here. So the reason that I'm putting this resin under here is I'm going to try and prevent extra bubbles. I'm going to use my torch, and I'm just going to hit it for a second. That's all you need to do, just a second, you guys. And I'm going to drop my little bird in there, and see, it's not going to move around much because there's not a big thick layer of resin under there. And I want her to stay so that she's facing the right direction when it comes to this little nubbin that's right up here. So that's where my nub is. Let's see if I can get you guys a little bit closer to me. And I'll move this up a little bit. There we go. And I also don't want my bird, the reason we used that thin layer, it's sticky on the back side, you guys. This is a sticker. So it wants to stick to my nails. Here's what we're going to do. We've got a little bit of resin on that. It won't stick to that. Okay, so I'm just going to move this around with my Q-tip. Okay, so I want her to go right about there. I want her to face the right way and all that good stuff, so I'm trying to be super, super careful. And sometimes when you use these molds, you guys pay attention, because sometimes this side is the top. So you're going to want to pay attention. This particular mold has a very shiny underside, and so you won't have to do anything to make sure this is finished off. But there are times when this is not the top. This is the bottom. And this is one of those times. But this one, the bottom is actually the top. So just so you guys know. Okay, and I think what I'm going to do, tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to put her under the light, and I'm going to cure her to that little teeny layer of resin that's down underneath her, so that she's not going to move around at all. Make sure she's in the right spot. There we go. I'm just going to put her under there for a few seconds, just so that resin gets at least a little bit tacky. And that's it. Now she's not going to move at all. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of blue sky in here. So in order to accomplish that, I'm going to put a little bit of clear resin here. I didn't even need that much, honestly. Don't need a lot of dye in this. If you put too much dye in this, same thing. This is not opaque, this is translucent, and it's going to cure a little bit better than the opaque will, but you still only need such a tiny bit, you guys. And this actually, I don't think I've ever opened this one before. Ooh, see, I got I got that much on there, and that is way too much. So I'm going to wipe that off. And now I just have what's kind of stuck to the toothpick, and I'm not even going to let all of that go. I'm going to throw that toothpick away, grab a clean one, and I'm going to mix that tiny little bit of blue in there. And if that's not enough, don't worry, you can add more color. You just can't take it away. And the reason I'm doing blue is because I want to have a little bit of a blue sky. So that's why I put the blue in there. And I'm going to add just a little bit more resin, and I can use this resin in another piece after I'm done with my video if I want. So I'm not going to waste it. I will use this resin in the end. I have another piece that I was thinking about doing. I think I put it away. I did. That was a mermaid, so that would be a pretty one. I might go get that mermaid. Where did I put her? Gosh, I don't remember where I put her. Oh, let's see. What ones did I have out here? There she is. Look at that. I found her quick, you guys. But she would be pretty with that blue. So maybe we'll make that one next. Okay, so this is still a little bit more blue than I really want it to be. It's not as clear as I want, because I want this to be an ever so light blue. That should be okay. And the reason I'm using blue is for the sky, you guys. That's really it. And I'm just going to pour that in right over the top of our little bird. And we want to make sure we get that blue underneath that bird as well. There we go. And I'll just use this to get it over there. And under our little bird, we want to make sure. I'm going to look at the underbelly and see if I can tell if I got it all underneath there. Looks like I got it under there pretty good. Okay, so now we've got a nice pretty blue sky. And then I thought maybe I would use a couple. Well, the other thing I wanted to do, and I think I used the one that had the resin in it, I'm going to add just a dot of resin in this one. You see that little dot? And just a dot of white dye. I think I need more than that, but not much. And you can see as I'm mixing that up what color it's turning. Now it's turning white, but it's a very pale white. So I think I'm safe to say I can use a little bit more. I just need to open it and let it come out. I think I closed it. Oh, see, way too much. Now, I have a little teeny dot of white on the tip of this toothpick, and I'm talking the very tip of the toothpick. So I'm going to mix that in there, and you can see now it's turning white. And you see how much white is in there? So the one thing that's going to save me with this is that I'm going to be just adding this, because what I want to do is I just want to try making some little clouds, little wispy clouds kind of going across the sky. So I'm just going to take my toothpick and I'm just going to dot those little clouds in there. Hopefully you guys can kind of see what I'm doing. As they start to show up, you'll see it. See? Just wispy, wispy clouds. And a lot of times when you use white, you guys, a lot of times the white will literally sink to the bottom of your mold. So keep that in mind when you're using white. I guess the opaque dye just tends to fall. I don't know what the reason is totally, but I'm guessing that it's a little heavier, so it tends to just kind of fall. There we go. I think that's enough as far as the clouds go. I did get some blue in there, but that's okay. All right, so we have our little clouds, and then I was thinking I might try to add, I've got a couple of little baby's breath flowers here from some flowers that my husband gave me for Valentine's Day. So I think I'm gonna try and cut off a couple of these little tiny ones. Some of them are super duper tiny. The big ones I think would be too big, but these little tiny ones I think will be really cute in here. I'm just going to cut a few off and pick which ones I want to use. There's a super tiny one there. And I'm just trying to scale it down to the size of the pendant. So that's why I'm looking for the teeniest, tiniest flowers that I can find in here. There we go. That should be enough. Don't need anything big or massive or anything like that. Okay. And let me get my tweezers. That was the one thing I forgot to grab. There they are. I'm gonna use these. And I'm just gonna pop a couple of these in. And these may end up looking white, or I'm sorry, not white, blue, because we've got that blue dye in there, but that's okay. And you guys, I don't know what this is going to look like. I haven't done any dried flower ones in so long. It's been quite a while since I've done the dried flowers in resin. I used to do it all the time, but I just haven't played with it for a little while. And hopefully these will be cute. That one's a little bit bigger, but that's okay too. It's still not huge. I think I'm going to flip that one the other way. Okay, And then one more thing I'm going to add is a little bit of my sparkling glitter. And what did I do with that? I put it away like I'm supposed to. Let's see if I can grab that real quick. Where are you? Maybe I didn't put it away. Nope, it must still be up here. Let's see. Huh. Where did I put it? I just used it, you guys. Oh my word. Okay, I got it. So, I'm gonna take... I must have left it out. Oh my word. Sometimes the things I do, you guys, you just wouldn't understand. Oh, there it is. That's not the bag that I was looking for. I do have a bag that's out, but I don't know where I sat it. But that's okay. This is the same stuff. So I'm going to take a little bit of my clear and silvery sparkles. I'm just going to put a little bit around. Just like that. And we want a clean toothpick, because I am going to move a couple of these around because they're like too uniform. Now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cure this, but I am going to cure it on both sides, you guys. I'm not going to do just one side. I'm going to do both sides because I want to come up from the bottom as well. So I'm going to pop this under my lamp for about 30 seconds. And then I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to set it on my lights for another 30 seconds. And I'll show you how I do. I'm not going to show you right here, but I will show you how I do that. Okay, so now we've got our bird. And I'm going to say I just did this not in view. So we may be doing the whole video on the other one. So now all I'm going to do is I'm going to clear this on the back side. And I'm going to pop it in again. Trying not to go over the edges. Pop any bubbles and kind of move this around a little bit. Make sure everything's covered. There we go. And we're going to pop it under there for another 30 seconds. Or actually, this time we're going to pop it in for 120 seconds. Okay, you guys, so let's just see how this one came out. We're going to pull the mold off of it, just pulling the sides off first, and it comes off really, really, really easy. See how easy that popped out of there? And there we go. Isn't that pretty? Let's get a piece of white something. How about we use this napkin so you can see it? There we go. Isn't that pretty? And you can just see the sparkles kind of under there. They hit when they hit the light, and you can see the clouds. So that came out super duper cute, you guys. This is just adorable. The only problem that I'm mad about, there's a little bit of bubbles right over here on this side. It's flat and everything. It's good, but there's a little bit of bubble right there where the blue didn't go quite to the edge. So that's the only problem that I see with it at all. The flowers look adorable in there. The sparkles look awesome. So yeah, so I think I'll probably make that into a little keychain. Isn't that cute? And that'll be one of my store giveaways. So awesome. Okay, so that one's done. Now, you guys, this may be moved to the back of the video. This was going to be my first one, and I boo-booed, and I think I got off camera again. So let's move on to our second one. And our little mold, we want to make sure there's nothing in it that's going to discolor it or make it look weird. And we got all the resin out, so it's ready to go. There's a sparkle on the other side there because they're just on my mat. Okay, so now what we're going to do is Carol's going to stay on camera. Number one, I was going to do one with this too. We might do that if we have time, but this one's going to go pretty quick. So first things first, we're going to add some resin. Just like this, we're going to squeeze it in there. Making sure that it's a thin layer, but even as a thin layer, we want it to touch all edges of the, let me get one of my swaps here, all edges of the inside of the mold. And you saw where I got bubbles on the other one, on the bird, or you will see it, because I may be just showing you that one finished. I probably got a little more resin in there than I wanted the first time around, but that's okay. It's going to be fine. I'm going to set that aside, and I'm going to cure this for 30 seconds. And this is what we're going to use for this one. Little mermaid. I thought that would be cute. And we're going to put some sparkles in it. These are just some sparkles that I bought on Temu here. And yeah, so we've got a few things. We've got some blue resin, and I will show you the part where I mixed this from the first one that I did. And I don't know, you guys, I may be able to show you both of them. I don't know if I got the other one totally on camera or not, so I apologize for that. And then I'm going to, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a thin layer of clear one more time. Super duper thin layer. And I'm going to move it around all the way to the edges, you guys. Make sure you can see that it's touching every edge when you're putting your resin in these molds, because the edges of it are rounder than you think sometimes, and so you may not be pushing it all the way to the edges when you're pushing it around in the mold. And make sure you get it to the front side of this nub that's there for your pendant. But you just got to make sure that you're touching all edges. Okay, and then we're going to take our mermaid, and she's just going to fit in this mold, you guys, just barely. So I'm not going to have any trouble. She's actually going to go up to the side of that nub. So here's the nub, her head's up here. But I think I've got her in the direction that I want her. And I'm going to cure this real quick for 30 seconds. Another thing that I'm going to do, my friend Carrie sent me a YouTube channel that she watches, and she thought that I might enjoy watching this channel because the girl that does it is, she does a lot of resin stuff. And so I will put a link to her channel on in the description menu so that you guys can go in there and check her out as well. But I want to try, so we're going to be doing something with these, but I think that's going to be a separate video because it's a little more time consuming than this one's going to be. So, okay, there's our mermaid all ready to go. And next what I'm going to do is I mixed a tiny bit of blue dye with this resin, and we're going to pour this in here. I think I've got enough. This was left over from the bird. That we did. And we don't want it to be too dark of a blue because this is representing the ocean here. I'm sure you guys knew that. But we don't want it to be too dark because then you won't be able to see through it. You got to be able to see through it. And I'm making sure that blue is going to get all the way up to those edges this time. And I'm looking kind of at the edges from the outside to make sure I can see blue all the way around. And what I might do, I think I'm going to add a little more clear in here. And we'll just kind of mix it around. And that's okay. A lighter blue will not bother me on this. I'm actually happier to make it a lighter blue. I don't want it to be too dark. But this might even give it a little bit of a swirly blue effect, which is cool by me. Mix some of the clear in there. And I'm just making sure it's getting up under that mermaid there. Okay. So now I'm going to take her and I'm going to use my torch. Get any bubbles out of there, which I did not do the first time. I did it on the bird, but I didn't do it the first layer of this, so hopefully it's not real bubbly, but it's an underwater scene, so really, if there's a few bubbles in it, it'll probably look pretty cool. Oh, I forgot my sparkles. Oh no. Let me see if I can put some of these in here. I just wanted to get some down sort of towards the bottom. Either way, these will be fine. Maybe a little bit. No, I'm not going to use those. But I think what I am going to do, see that already pretty much cured on the bottom of this. I'm going to add this, and I'm going to add some of my sparkles because these will look really pretty in this. And we're just going to kind of put those around. I have got to start looking up more often at my camera. Just a little bit of that sparkle. I'm just grabbing some of these little blue bits that are left over and just kind of dropping them in there. I think this is going to turn out really pretty, you guys. And then we're going to add some more clear resin. And I'm not adding any white to this, you guys, for like waves or anything, because we're pretty much kind of under the water on this one. So I want it to look under the water, not on top of the water. Don't go over the edge, you guys. You don't need to go over the edge. We're not looking to dome this side because the other side's going to be the front, the bottom. That's why I flipped the mermaid upside down. So I just want this to be for sure up to all the edges. Kind of mix those sparkles around a little bit. I feel like I need to get that one kind of away from her face. Don't want it all up in her face. And I did just kind of hit that little nub with some of the resin, but that's okay. I think it'll be fine. Okay, and we're going to pop it back up under the light for 60 seconds. And then I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to put it, the bottom side of it, on the light for another 60 seconds. And I'm doing that because I want it to be, I want to be sure that both sides are cured very, very well. Okay, so we've got her out of the lamp. And this is what it looks like. We're going to let it cool just a little bit before we pull it out, because it's still going to be somewhat soft while it's still hot. So I'm just letting it cool off just a little bit, and then we're just going to pull these sides away like we did with the bird. And they pull away real easily once you get that first little bit away from the top here. And that's just my nails slipping off, you guys. That's not the pendant being hard to get out of here, because this peels right off. Look at that. Like nothing, like butter. And there we go. We have a beautiful mermaid pendant. Isn't that gorgeous? Let's see. Let's put a white napkin underneath her. That's what that one looks like. And there is our little bird. So you can see these are both gorgeous. Look at that mermaid one. Wow, I'm super excited about that. I've got more of those mermaids, and you can bet I'm going to be making more of those pendants. And then what I'm going to add to these is, well, I'm going to do one more real quick, you guys. We're going to make this super fast. I'm going to add one of my little lobster clips to them. And these are going to be given away to customers who shop in my store. So I will have 3 of them. So 3 customers, the next 3 customers that order from my shop will be getting these as their thank you gift. So I always give thank you gifts. And these are not easy to put on. I'm going to tell you that right now. Especially not with the nails, although they are helping me to get it open. So maybe it won't be too bad. So we're just going to get that edge to go through the hole. And we didn't do it that time. Let's try this one more time. Once I've done this a few times, then it gets much easier. But it takes me a few times to get my groove. Okay. Because it has to go over this thick piece of resin, and that is not easy to accomplish. If it was a little closer to the top, it would be a little easier, but it's not. And my eyeballs are not seeing the hole, so I'm not getting it right to the right spot. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to use 2 hands. We are going to get that side in that hole. If it kills me, okay, get that over the top. Okay, I think I'm just about there. Yes, 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 yes. We did it, you guys. Now if it just goes through. Ah. Yeah, see, I got that resin over the nub. Darn it. I did it on both of them. Okay, so all I need to do, don't fret, because you can fix this problem. And the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to use my little round pliers here. I'm going to find that nub, because I know it's just a very thin bit right there that I need to get through. And I did the same thing on this one, I'm sure, only not as bad. Oh no, this one's fine. And this was the one that I thought I messed up on. Okay, so let's try this again, you guys. Man, I was so excited I had it through there too. This is so not easy to do. There, okay, got it. So now, just need to get it through the hole. It's just because the section between the hole in the pendant and the, oh, I gotta get the other side through now. How's this gonna work? There we go. Got it. Okay. And now I put this in the middle of them. Okay, let's fix that now. That'll be easy. I just have to get both pieces through here and get that through. And these are just, they're a little bit more spread apart. So we just have to work at getting those back together. Marrying those two back together again. And I will fix that with just a little bit of persuasion. But we're not going to worry about that right now. So there we go. We've got our little lobster claw on there. And we have our little pendant. That one's done. I'm going to take my cloth and I'm just going to rub that out a little bit in case I got any fingerprints on it. And now let's get this other one done. And I'm sure the same thing is going to happen with this one as far as the two pieces being more spread apart. But that's fixable, you guys. That's not a big deal. Okay. Now I just need to keep this over both as I slide it through, so I don't have to do that again. Okay. Keep coming round. There we go. And we're almost to the end. Almost, you guys, I almost got it. There we go. Yeah, see, that one didn't spread apart much at all. Okay. So, there we go. Now those two are done. I'm going to do one more. If you want to stick around and watch it, you can. Gonna do it a little bit different. So it might be worth sticking around for. Pop that under my lamp and get that resin to just cure in there. And actually, we're not going to use any colored resin in this one, so that's going to make it even faster. So here we go. Here's our mold. We're going to pop our first layer of resin in there. And spread it around, getting it to all the edges. And you guys notice I'm I'm using my leveling table that Kareth sent me. This is worth its weight in gold, you guys. Oh my gosh, this thing has saved me like you wouldn't believe. I love this thing. So we got that resin in there. We're gonna go ahead and this time remember to get any bubbles out, just like that. That's all you need. A couple of seconds on there and that's all you need. It's just the heat pulls the bubbles out. And I'm going to put that under for a few seconds, probably 15 seconds or so. And that's all it's going to need. These two, and let's see. What do we have in here? Maybe some of these crystals might be pretty. Trying to decide what I want to use in here. Okay, so there's that. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to add our little flowers. So I'm going to add a little layer of resin in here. And I'm just pushing it to the edges right with the bottle. Shouldn't do that because then you end up with resin around the top of the bottle. I'm going to wipe it off real fast. And then I'm going to pop these leaves in first because I want them at the bottom. And I've got my nub right there. You can see that. So I want this to kind of face up like that. And the reason you put that first layer down, you guys, I don't think I explained that. The reason that I do that is because that way I don't have to worry about these rhinestones or whatever it is I'm putting in here popping up through the resin on the front. This way I know it's going to be okay. And this I'm just looking at the bottom to make sure that it's where I want it to be. And these are just the gold leaves and the little sequined flower. I could put the other flower in there, but I think I'd be taking up too much space. But I do want to use some of my sparkles. Me and my sparkles, you guys. I'm addicted. This is just some of my pretty glitter. I'm going to pop that in there just around the edges of the flower. Don't need a lot, you guys. But I do want it to sparkle all the way around. Okay, so that's enough of that. And then we're going to add some more resin. And sometimes I would want to add some color to the back side just to add some contrast. And I may want to do that with this one. I don't know. I may like it just to be clear. I'm going to think about that while it's curing from this layer of resin. And I'm checking to see if I've got enough sparkles in here. I kind of feel like it could use a little more of my glitter. This glitter, you guys, is the most amazing thing since sliced bread. I love it that much because of the way that it sparkles. Let's see, where did I put that? I'm going to add just a little bit more over here. And we'll just put some behind it too so that the back is pretty. And a little more resin. And I've pretty much already decided I'm not going to add any color to this. I think I want it to be clear just with those sparkles. Kind of trying to watch that I don't fill it up too far. It's right up to the edge, but we're not worried about doming it. And when I say doming, for those of you who haven't done much resin, doming is when this would be the top side and I want to round it out on the top. Now, if I wanted to, I could take the other side and I could dome it. If I decided I wanted to do that, I can. I'm going to put this under the lamp for 60 seconds. And then I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to put it in for another 60 seconds. I'll be right back. Okay, you guys, here we go. Let's see how beautiful this one is. Also, I did find some single rings. I'm going to use one of these single ones instead of the double on this clasp. It's a little warm, but that's okay. It's thick enough. It's not gonna bend or do anything. Okay. Pull that guy off of there. Oh, that's so pretty. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty, you guys. I am going to have to sand these a little bit right here, you guys. Sometimes you can take, if there's like a slight edge, you can take your, I don't know if you guys can see it right here. We're going to back you off a little bit so I can work here. You can take and where it's got this edge, if it's a big edge, you can take and nip off the edges. It's not. I just need to sand these around the edges, and then I will probably paint some resin over that edge so that it stays nice and shiny. And you can sand them, you guys, but just remember, when you sand resin, don't just sand it and leave it. You can't do that. You can't buff it out. You can't do anything like that to make it look better. You have to also paint a little bit of resin around the outside. I'm just going to take my pliers here and put that clasp together. And I should have put my lobster claw on there while I was at it. There we go. Now let's put it together. The only good thing about those doubled ones is that you can rest assured it's not going to come apart and it's not going to come off of there. So that's the one good thing about those. Okay, so there's pendant number 3. Look at that. Look at the sparkles from those sparkles. Oh my gosh, they're so pretty. So anyway, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I sure did enjoy doing it. And if you didn't get a good view of this bird, everything else will be fine. So you'll get good pictures of each part of the process, I'm sure. I don't know if you're at the end of this video and I'm telling you this, I may have cut out the part where I did the bird just because I think I may have gotten off camera. So anyway, so there's our flower, there's our mermaid, and there's our bird. Aren't they gorgeous? So thanks a lot, you guys, for watching. God bless you all. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Stay safe, stay well, take care of yourselves first and foremost. Love your family. Hug them, kiss them, tell them you love them all the time. And you are amazing. Each and every one of you are amazing, and keep remembering that. Keep telling yourself that, because you are. Everyone in their own right is amazing in some way, shape, or form. And you guys need to know that you are amazing. So thanks a lot for watching, you guys. God bless you all. I'll put pictures on the back end. And this mold I actually got on Temu. So I can also make sure that I put, I think I got this and some other ones, and I don't know where my other ones are, or I probably would have done, you know, a couple of different shapes, but I don't know where I put them. So anyway, I gotta find my molds. I can't find my cross molds. I don't know what I did with them, you guys. But you can be sure I'm gonna be looking for them. But I did get this on Temu, so I will attach the link to the description menu for these little molds. They're great for making these little pendants and keychains and stuff. What a great little gift for somebody that you know, that you just want to give a little kind of a token gift to. So anyway, give it a shot, you guys. This is beginner UV resin 101. So I hope you enjoyed it. Love you all. Bye-bye.